This is Book 1 of Quetzalcoatl's Chronicles. Title is Plume Serpent's Ascension. Written by Adolfo Jimenez Rico Jr. First published in India by James Hemingway Imprints of Sharim Info Media in 2023. Copyright Adolfo Rico Jr. Sharim Info Media and Ghaziabad, India. No part of this publication may be produced, transmitted, or stored in a retrieval system in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopy, recording, or otherwise, without the prior consent of the publisher. Publisher is not liable for any factual, proposed information stated within. All responsibility lies with the author. This book is Book 1. Quetzalcoatl's Adventures with Merlin. Timeline 63, 30, 80. Chapter 1. Away. The true past shall be revealed. But you know it's not the truth. I, Quetzalcoatl, shall reveal my story. The destruction of the old world, written down in the lore of the morning star journal. The great war that wiped out the previous nations occupying Earth is now written in legends and in myths. The name of Atlantis and evil are forever underwater. Yet their legends live on, only in the imaginations of writers and poets. The loss of the fabled civilizations is lamented to this day. Some have a wild theory that the survivors of said nations spread throughout the continents that we now inhabit. Also, that was created by the cataclysm of nuclear war. The stricken records of the history of Atlantis and Emu were found in a cave in the territory of the former stronghold of the Apache homelands. qPs discovered the secret scrolls during the turbulent conquest of the Apache homelands. They were forced onto a reservation in New Mexico. To be more specific, the scrolls were in the Three Sisters mountain range. Those scrolls were handed to the medicine men who through visions peered into other worlds that regular humans cannot even imagine. In the Three Sisters mountain range, several tribes live in that territory. As the wars intensified, the medicine men hid the scrolls in a cave until the right apprentice came along. Only then would the scrolls be able to be deciphered. Tribes that occupy these lands in New Mexico are Escaleros, Chiricahua, and Lipans. The medicine men would have visions and journeys to get insight into specific tasks or questions to help heal their fellow tribe members. One day, a Chiricahua medicine man had a vision in which he talked to qPs in the spirit world. The former chief told him that the time had come for the location of the scrolls to be revealed and their contents deciphered. The medicine man, whose name is Tony Thunderhorse, was tasked by qPs to teach his son, Ravenhorse, the ways. He is the chosen one to bring the jar of the scrolls out of the cave. His Christian name is Lorenzo de Soto, given to him by his Mexican mother at his baptism. For the most part, he's rejected those Christian teachings. He prefers the red man's path of peace and healing. And Ravenhorse's reputation has grown across the reservations as a powerful medicine man. The seasons come and go. His father and mother have passed on. Alone now in the world, he practices healing anyone and everyone across the reservations. One day he is sitting in his trailer home when a raven pays him a call, like the raven in Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem, The Raven. Stepping outside, he sees it. The crow is making a ruckus. It is sitting on a boulder facing in the northern direction. This is a message from those who dwell in the spirit world. Lorenzo ponders what the message could be. Raven Horse's gut feeling is flashing like a beacon in the night, but he must put that aside. The raven is speaking a mile a minute. But as impossible as it seems, Raven Horse understands. In fact, he tells it to slow down, as he is mentally taking notes of what is being told to him. Basically, his task is to do homework, to do a vision quest, to a mirror world where time does not flow like this one. There is no past, no present, or future. It is all in flux. He can travel in any direction he desires, and his guides and teachers will lead him to where he needs to go. The raven finishes its message and departs. Raven Horse observes it disappear. Raven Horse has done all his preparations. He's ready. His two friends, who are also medicine men, will beat their drums in unison to open the gateways for him to go to the lower world and find the jar somewhere in that desert down there. He enters into the mirror world. He summons his guides and teacher to aid him. His totem animals are already all around him. He changes into his avatar, a black eagle with gold-tipped feathers. He takes to the air. Flying for what seems like miles, his eagle eyes spot a cave. Landing near a boulder, he shapeshifts back to his human form. He notes the sun is going down already. There is light emanating from the cave. A pleasant aroma assaults his nostrils. It smells like a wild rabbit being cooked, which to his surprise is on a spit to boot. Initially it seems no one is here, but his warrior instincts make him turn around, with a bowie knife appearing in his right hand. Behind a torchlight, a man steps out of the shadow. "Welcome, Raven Horse, to my humble abode. My name is Moonstrider." He's dressed in buckskin pants and boots, along with an open shirt. A red bandana adorns his long black hair. His eyes are brown like his skin. Wrinkles complement the rest of his face. He said, "I have been waiting for you. It was written in the stars, long before this current world was born, that you'd be the chosen one." Raven Horse is a bit mystified by this statement. "My father, Thunder Horse, was always saying that I was the one. I am no different from any other man from the tribes that I am descended from." Moonstrider motions for Raven Horse to sit near him by the campfire. The rabbit is now fully cooked. Taking his knife, the older man slices off a bit of rabbit and offers it to Raven Horse. It would be impolite to turn down this offering from an elder, especially this kind. Meat is a rare commodity in the desert. Raven Horse takes the morsel off the knife and puts it on his own knife. As he chews on the meat, he waits for the elder to speak his mind. A few seconds pass as both men enjoy their impromptu meal. Moonstrider commences, "We have chosen you to reveal certain scrolls which contain the story of Atlantis and Emu. Actually, Atlantis' actual name is Aslan." As Raven Horse's attention is piqued by this statement, he sits silently. The elder medicine man tosses some cedar into the fire. The smoke from the fire induces a hypnotic state in which Raven Horse travels further into the past in another mirror world inside of this one. Countless moons ago, you lived in Atlantis and bore witness to its destruction and that of the nation of Emu, said Moonstrider. Before you tell me any more, let me ask you a question, grandfather. "Why me?" queried the Mescalero Apache. "You ask why? Father Sky and Mother Earth have proclaimed it to be so. Now make yourself comfortable. There is much to tell and little time to do so. Your spirit can stay here in this plane of existence, but only for so long. Your physical body cannot be an empty vessel without its soul. It can be vulnerable to be infected by a corrupt entity. Now I must walk you through the next part of your task. Moonstrider puts several glyphs into the air, and a new tunnel opens off to the left side of the cave. Follow that passage. It will open to another cave. In it, you will find a large earthen container. In it contain 4 different scrolls. Your task is to remove the jar and take it home. Read the scrolls that are in them. There are some hard truths that will not be easy to swallow, but it is necessary for the good of the world. Go, and take the torch that is at the edge of the entrance. Light it, and may Usan guide your spirit on this voyage. Raven Horse gets up. Grabbing the torch, he lights it and walks into the cave. The path is narrow. He meanders this way and that way. After what seems like an eternity, his eyes spot a big earthen jar. He puts the torch into a secure spot, attempts to lift it. The jar is actually quite heavy, but he can lift it. Getting it out of here is another story. Out of curiosity, he tries to pry it open. Moonstrider appears beside him. He tells him, "You cannot do that here in this plane," says Moonstrider. "Now you have the location of the jar and the caves. So I will now send you back into your own world." "But," was the last word Raven Horse was able to babble before he woke up back in his own. Raven Horse's friends stopped beating their drums. Güero, his childhood friend, asks him, "Did you find what you're looking for?" as he offers him some water to drink. Taking several large gulps of water, Raven Horse said, "Yes, I did. I cannot reveal what is it I found. An elder guide has ordered me not to say anything about it." Güero is satisfied with that answer. "That's good for me. Me and Ricky will leave you to do whatever you need to do. Call us if you need any assistance." With that, the 2 other medicine men depart. Raven Horse is exhausted. He prepares himself a meal in his trailer. He didn't realize he was starving. Once he finished his meal, he went outside of the trailer home to process what he had heard and seen. He settles down in his favorite chair and lights his pipe with tobacco and watches the sunset and the stars come out. The day is done. He decides to call it a night. There is much to do tomorrow. He crawls into his bed. He hears an owl hooting away. Normally, he would be concerned with this. Not tonight. They could sing wherever they wanted. He isn't concerned about that. The Sandman finally puts him to sleep. In his dreams, he once again is inside the cave. Moonstrider's waiting for him. "Welcome back. I figured we could continue this in the dream world, not the mirror world. There are a few more things I need to tell you. 1. There are 4 scrolls in the jar. They are in sequential order. They are written in a language that is extinct. 2. Do not worry about that. Be wary. It is your life story as well as others. You have made choices that even now reverberate in this life walk. And some people you know, they just don't have any idea. It is not your place to divulge information to them about this journey you've taken. The last thing I will give you is this labradorite stone ring. If you take it out in the sun and charge it for 3 days and nights, it will become attuned to you. You can summon me by looking into it, and my image will appear. You can then open the portal and come to me, and we can talk. Good luck." He wakes up the next day, and next to him is a map. Where it came from, he doesn't know, and he don't care. Unfolding it, he sees the location where the cave is marked. The location of the jar is also in that map. Raven Horse gets dressed Making his way to his kitchenette, he brews some coffee and cooks scrambled eggs. His next task is to go to town, fill the tank of his truck, and buy provisions at the sporting goods store. Also gets some ammunition for his rifle. One cannot be too careful out there. He surveys his list and everything is checked off. With everything secured, he takes the road home. The night comes and goes. The next morning, his backpack is full, not too heavy to lug around. He tosses the ropes in the back of the seat. The rifle is put on the gun rack, along with several magazines clipped into his hunter's vest. He jumps into the truck, taking out the map. He sees in his mind's eye the route he needs to take. Luckily, his truck is a four-wheel drive one. What seems like hours alone out here, he finds the trail that led to the area where the Box Canyon is located. He turns off the truck. From here, it will be a travel on foot. Putting on his backpack and securing his rifle, the safety lock is on. Ravenhorse does not want to have an accident out in the middle of nowhere. Taking his bearings with his compass, the Mescalero Apache presses on. At last, his search bears fruit. The cave is right where the map said it would be. Lighting his torch, he goes into the cave. To his chagrin, it is deep. Sighing, he is careful where he plants his feet. You never know if there's a snake or a puma in the cave. At the back of the cave, he sees another passageway that deviates to the left. It is a very narrow passage. Finally, it opens to a wider cave. At the edge of the light from the torch, he sees the jar, just like he saw it in his dream. He gingerly lifts the jar, assessing its weight. He can carry it out. Well, he makes a harness to be able to carry it out. Mescalero Apache puts on its headlamp to find his way back. This part of my mission is over. Now I need to get it home. Step by step, he retraces his steps back to the entrance of the cave. Seeing daylight, he turns off his headlamp. Coming out of the cave, putting down the jar momentarily, he takes some beef jerky out of his backpack and some water. He eats quickly and drinks water from his canteen. Feeling reinvigorated, he heaves the jar and the backpack. Walking at a bit of a quick pace, he soon sees his truck come into sight. After a few minutes, he lowers the jar into the truck bed, tying it to the side of the box. Also, he tosses his backpack into the opposite side of the truck bench, securing his rifle on the rack, and taking a deep breath, he takes another deep breath and starts the truck. The last leg of this odyssey is about over. The northern star is high overhead when Ravenhorse arrives at his home. Parking his truck, he opens the tailgate, lifting the jar off the truck bed, making his way to the door of his house. He unlocks it and takes the jar and places it on his dining table. Going back to the truck, he closes the tailgate and also takes his backpack and rifle into his home. The sun peers through the window of Ravenhorse's bedroom. His alarm is going off. Grumbling, he gets up, doing the usual morning routine to start his day. A coffee machine was already brewing its magical potion. Pouring himself a cup of coffee, he looks at the jar. The Mescalero Apache is in no hurry to open it. After eating his breakfast, Ravenhorse looks at his ring. He will summon Moonstrider to get the cipher key to be able to read the scrolls. Going outside, he angles the ring to catch the sunlight to activate it, and at once the image of Moonstrider glows. "How can I help you?" responds Moonstrider. "Okay, I have the jar home. I need the cipher key to be able to read the scrolls." Moonstrider projects himself into this reality. Touching Raven Horse's forehead, where the mind's eye is located, the cipher key is transferred to the Apache's subconscious mind. There, in your conscious mind, is the key. You should be able to read the language of the scrolls. Bear in mind, the current history of the world was written by the descendants of evil, not Atlantis. Good luck, my friend. Ravenhorse mutters to himself, "We shall see. We shall see, my friend." Going back inside, he gets near the table. The jar is sealed with wax. He pulls out his knife and removes the seal. He then pulls out 4 scrolls. Each one has a different number of ribbons, summarizing that each ribbon stands for the numerical sequence of the story. All right, that makes sense to him. Taking the first one, he unravels the scroll. Sure enough, the writings are what look like glyphs the Egyptians used for their language. His eyes cannot focus. He'll need his glasses to be able to read this. Ravenhorse gets his pipe, puts tobacco in it, lighting it, and after taking a few puffs to his satisfaction, it is going. Taking a seat to make himself comfortable, saying to himself, "All right, let's begin." He starts to read it out loud to himself. Long ago, the nations of Emu and Atlantis shared the planet. The earth was a paradise. They could control the weather, making it rain where it is needed and bringing sunshine to create a comfortable temperature. The 2 nations were ruled by different systems. One was an empire, and the other one was a kingdom. The 2 countries signed a pact that neither would attack the other, but good things never last forever. As the rulers' descendants ascended to the thrones, they became power-hungry, and soon the 2 countries went to war. Minor skirmishes ensued. Never were the wars elevated to the height where both countries would use their advanced weapons that could wipe out all life on the planet. Ravenhorse paused his reading. If they were so advanced, they could have shared Mother Earth's bounty, he says to himself. Moonstrider appears in his mind's eye, and he chimes in, "That's true, my son, but man, being man, is always prone to breaking any pacts. It is the nature of the beast. Now continue the saga." Ravenhorse says back, "Are you going to accompany me on this journey, or are you going to just give a running commentary as I wade into these stories?" "Well, if you put it that way, I may as well join you." Continuing, Ravenhorse reads on. "The name of Atlantis is wrong. It is actually called Aslan. Scholars misinterpreted this and mistranslated it. And what you have heard, the mythology of your southern neighbors, known as the Aztecs, is false." "Completely false?" said Ravenhorse. "Correct. Now 3 brothers were in line to inherit the crown of Atlantis. If the current king abdicated the throne or passed away of natural causes, during this time, men and women lived very long lives. For 5,000 years. Thus, they felt almost immortal. But the angel of death still does its job all too well," said Moonstrider. Ravenhorse interjects, "Are you going to tell the story, or am I going to be allowed to read it?" "Humph. Fine. I narrate it to you since you don't seem to take it seriously," said Moonstrider. "So, the myths of gods living amongst men was based on this premise?" Ravenhorse puts down his pipe. "Yes, that in essence is the truth. The Greeks and Romans legends are based on what Plato learned from earlier historical records. Now, I will take my leave. I can't always babysit you," said Moonstrider. Ravenhorse said, "You sure have a funny way of showing how you can care about me. Why, Leave me to my own devices. Now the fun begins. Raven Horse had had enough for the day. Rolling up the scroll, he ties it up and puts it back into the jar. He'll continue to read it or have it narrated tomorrow. Another day in his life of Raven Horse. He goes to bed and dreams of his teenage years and other events of his life. He doesn't realize it, but the Apache medicine man is not alone. He's being watched over.
Thus ends Chapter 1 of Plumed Serpent's Ascension.